Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's update on the Alberta wildfires. We'll begin with updates from Colin Blair from the Alberta Emergency Management Agency and Christy Tucker from Alberta Wildfire. Then we'll take your questions. Over to you, Colin.
Good afternoon. As the province heads into a hot and dry May long weekend, the current wildfire situation in Alberta remains volatile. It is critical that all Albertans remain vigilant and closely follow updates on the wildfire situation across the province. Alberta remains under a provincial state of emergency, and the Provincial Emergency Coordination Centre remains at level 4. The fire danger is rated as very high to extreme in northern Alberta and high along the eastern slopes of the Rockies. There are currently 23 states of local emergency, as well as 5 band council resolutions. 10,523 Albertans remain evacuated at this time, and there are 14 reception centres open for affected areas. The total number of evacuation orders now stands at 17. All residents who are evacuating should register at the nearest reception centre or online. Registering makes it easier to get help and resources to evacuees, and it makes it easier for officials to reach residents with important updates and information. Over the past few days, we have received several questions regarding impacts to infrastructure and communities across the province. As of today, the total number of structures damaged is estimated at 275. Structures include homes, businesses, outbuildings, commercial, and other properties. I know there might be questions about where the damaged structures are, but I won't get into these details so that communities can fully assess damage and inform property owners first. Anyone who has received confirmation from their municipality that their property has been damaged should contact their insurance company. Information about insurance is available on alberta.ca. Our thoughts are with anyone who has lost homes or businesses or experienced any loss as a result of these wildfires. We know this is an extremely difficult time, and the resilience of Alberta that Albertans have shown has been striking. As I mentioned, this weekend is going to be hot and dry. That's why the majority of the province remains under a fire ban, and the use of off-highway vehicles remains restricted as well. Off-highway vehicles include quads, side-by-sides, and dirt bikes. It also includes Jeeps, pickup trucks, and sport utility vehicles. I'd also like to remind the public that many provincial parks are closed. As well, we are strongly encouraging Albertans to postpone plans to visit public lands this weekend. More information on bans and park closures is available online at alberta.ca. We need everyone to do their part and help reduce the risk of fires this weekend. It's so important that all Albertans continue to obey the fire bans and restrictions that are in place. It's vital that everyone do their part to help prevent new wildfires, prevent further damage, and avoid further stressing the dedicated firefighting resources working across Alberta around the clock. I urge everyone to stay informed of the risks and the latest information in their community. It's important to be prepared to protect oneself, one's family, and neighbors. It's also critical to pay attention to emergency alerts and listen to local news updates. Please make sure the information is from trusted and verified sources. In addition to downloading the Alberta Emergency Alert app, Albertans should follow their local authorities' social media and other notification methods. It's also important to remember that air quality remains poor in many parts of the province. Everyone is encouraged to take action to reduce exposure to smoke, particularly those at higher risk and those with respiratory health conditions. Anyone that goes outside should limit strenuous activities and stay hydrated. Visit alberta.ca for more information on air quality advisories and how to protect one's health. This weekend is not the time to drop our guard. The wildfire threat remains as serious as ever. For anyone in the community on evacuation alert, please remember that the situation can change quickly. An evacuation order can be issued at any time with little to no warning, especially with continued hot and dry conditions expected this weekend and into next week. Being prepared will help you vacate your property quickly and safely. Evacuation preparation tips are available online at alberta.ca/beprepared. One of the ways to prepare for a possible evacuation is to put together an emergency kit to last you a week or more. The kit should include essential items like medication, identification, a first aid kit, flashlights, batteries, non-perishable food, cash, and clothing. This kit should be kept in an accessible location so you can be ready to go at a moment's notice. It's also important to have a plan in place to connect with loved ones and a plan in place for pets. Alberta SPCA peace officers can provide help with pets and can be reached at 1-800-455-9003. For information about livestock, evacuated farmers and ranchers can call the Wildfire Resource Line at 310-4455. I'd like to also remind evacuees about the nightly telephone town hall. The call begins at 7:30 p.m. and provides an opportunity to get information on topics like evacuation payments, insurance coverage, and other supports for evacuees. Government staff and community partners and agencies are on the call to provide answers. The town halls are recorded, so if you miss the live town hall, you can listen to the recordings online at alberta.ca. To join the town hall, call 1-833-380-0691. I'd like to conclude by again asking all Albertans to do everything they can to reduce the risk of starting another wildfire or increasing the spread of an existing fire this weekend. We all have a role to play in helping ensure the safety of our communities. I'd like to now turn things over to Christy for more information on the provincial wildfire situation.
Thank you, Colin. There are 93 wildfires in the forest protection area of Alberta. 25 of those are out of control. So far this year, we've responded to 493 wildfires, burning nearly 830,000 hectares. For reference, that's about 10 times the size of the Metro Calgary area. Yesterday evening, we saw activity on many of our wildfires. During this peak burning period, wildfire behavior can become extreme, and it's often at those times in the evening that we see the biggest growth. The Eagle Complex in the area of Fox Creek was extremely active yesterday, and it has crossed Highway 43. The wildfire near Chipewyan Lake crossed the fire break late last evening. It was a challenging day for us. But we continue to fight these and all of our priority wildfires near communities with every resource we have available. The extreme wildfire danger across most of the province, along with shifting and gusty winds, will keep the pressure on today, particularly as we go towards late afternoon. Our fire weather experts have put on a red flag watch for the high-level Fort Vermilion and Fort Chipewyan areas. That signals to both firefighters and the public that it's a hazardous fire environment and they need to take extra care for their own safety. Today, we have more than 2,800 people working on wildfires in the province between Alberta Wildfire, the Canadian Armed Forces, and the wildfire agencies assisting us. There are many more municipal and county emergency responders out there working hard for their own communities. And we will all be on high alert this weekend. It's 10 degrees above seasonal and dry with gusty winds. But we're positioned for sustained action on those wildfires currently on the landscape. We're prepared for new starts, and we continue to bring in extra resources. A team from northwestern states will arrive tomorrow and head to the Pembina complex near Edson. And we've requested 100 more troops from the Canadian Armed Forces to help us with the firefighting effort. May long weekend is traditionally a time when we see a spike in human-caused wildfires, and human-caused wildfires are entirely preventable. Last year, we saw 97 new wildfire starts over this weekend, and that was under much less extreme wildfire danger levels. So on behalf of firefighters, I'd like to thank you in advance to all those Albertans who have changed their plans for the long weekends to avoid any chance of causing a new wildfire. This wildfire season is affecting all of us, and firefighters appreciate every single action that reduces potential wildfires here in Alberta. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin and Christy. We don't have any media in the room, so we're going to go to the phone lines. We'll take one question and one follow-up. Operator, could you please put through the first caller?
Julia Wong, CBC. Hi, thank you for taking my question. Last weekend, we saw similar conditions, hot temperatures, dry conditions. I'm just wondering, how does the risk this long weekend compare to what we saw last weekend?
This long weekend, we do know that there tends to be generally more people out and about in the forest protection area. We are expecting, we have a cold front, which means we're expecting winds to shift, and we are expecting some gusts. I think the wind picture was a little different last weekend, and we were able to effectively respond to the fires that developed over the weekend. We're confident that we're in the same position this weekend. We know what's coming, and we do have our fire weather experts, our meteorologists, fire behavior experts, all working on this issue so that we, even if the winds are unpredictable, we're able to know where we should be positioning our resources in order to work on some of those fires where we're expecting more activity.
Do you have a follow-up question?
I do, and I know both of you spoke to this about the concern for this weekend about Albertans being out and about, but I wonder if you could be specific about what your concerns are that Albertans might do over the long weekend that could spark new fires.
Our team tracks the causes of wildfires very closely because it helps us understand where human-caused fires are coming from and how we can help prevent them in the future. So we do know that this long weekend there are a lot of recreational fires, and that means people who may be out camping who don't necessarily put their campfires out appropriately. That shouldn't be an issue this weekend because we do have a fire ban in place across the entire forest protection area of Alberta, as well as in many of the parks as well. So there won't be campfires. It will be one of the differences that we're seeing for this long weekend. And the reason we've put in an off-highway vehicle restriction is that we can see sparks come off of a very hot exhaust when people drive their quads or off-highway vehicles through the brush. They can build up dry vegetation, and the engine gets very hot. And so it's easy for some of that smoldering vegetation to fall off and spark a fire. So there are a variety of possible causes that people can start a wildfire when they're out recreating in the province, and those have a variety of ranges. And hopefully the measures that we've put in place, the fire ban, the off-highway vehicle restriction, and the request for people to stay out of the areas that are of highest risk will have a difference in the number of human-caused fires.
Great. Operator, could you please put through the next caller?
Mason, Global News.
Hi there. You mentioned the Eagle Fire near Fox Creek jumped Highway 43. I'm wondering if you can tell me how close it is to Fox Creek and what's the level of concern that the fire could reach the community?
I'll see if I can grab that information for you. I can tell you that the Eagle Complex is made up of two fires. They are both classified out of control, and we did see extreme wildfire behavior during the peak burning period. The last information I have is that one of those fires is 1 kilometer from Fox Creek. And I wouldn't want to predict how much closer it's going to be moving. I know that this is a priority wildfire for our firefighters. This is something that we are putting a lot of resources on. We have firefighters, we have aircraft and heavy equipment all working to reinforce the containment lines that we've been building there. So I certainly will say that firefighters are doing everything they can to stop any further movement or help control that fire despite its extreme behavior.
Do you have a follow-up question?
No, thank you.
All right. Operator, could you please put through the next caller?
Nicole Weinberg, CTV. Hi, I was also going to ask about the fire burning near Fox Creek. Maybe I'll ask you about the state of the highway. Obviously, we're going to ask about the decision to close it, but it sounds like
with the fire crossing the highway, obviously needed to close the highway. When could that possibly reopen? Where is the fire now in vicinity to Fox Creek?
I don't have any further details on the highway closure, Nicole. We do work very closely with RCMP and with transportation in situations like that, so it may be best to find information from those sources.
If you send a follow-up email after this, we can get that information over to you. Do you have a follow-up question?
Sure. Since you were talking about getting some numbers now on the destroyed structures, I was wondering if you have a breakdown of where we're seeing those destroyed structures. I know that there's been more than 100 in Fox Lake. I would assume that number includes those structures destroyed there. Do you have any other communities that you could be more specific about?
So, yeah, we're getting some estimates in from communities that have re-entered. We have others that are still evacuated that have provided us with some of the numbers. So, yes, Fox Lake is one of them. We've got numbers from East Prairie, Métis Settlement, as well as the town of Drayton Valley. So those are sort of the more conclusive numbers where we've had damage, but we're also getting numbers in from some of the other communities.
All right, operator, do we have any other callers on the line?
There are no other questions on the phone at this time.
All right, perfect. Please note a media situation report will be distributed later today, and then we'll have another update tomorrow at 3 p.m. Thank you.